detail and care that all of our departments bring to the show. Like in every nook and cranny, there's stuff that looks and feels like it's part of the universe that we're creating, even when it's not ever directly dealt with. So I don't even know if that stuff is still there because I haven't been up into that nook of the set since last year, since the first season. But multicolored, and I don't know if they're, I think some of them might have been actual dried mushrooms. I'm not sure, but made from whatever 3D printing technology or whatever that Mario and his team use. It's very inspiring to be surrounded by people who take their jobs so seriously and bring such heart and passion to everything that they do.
Yeah, and I'd imagine having that around you as an actor too helps you really get into character and feel like you're in that space and it's a real thing. Yeah, that's amazing.
Absolutely. I mean, we do like in this past episode, The Blob, like there was no
Right.
blob on set with us, but we can still we're just looking at an X, but we've seen images of what the blob might look like, so they're very good about sharing us concept art and things like that help inform. So we're not just sort of staring with like absolutely no idea.
No idea what the shape is or what you're looking
Right.
at. Yeah. So have you met the real Paul Stamets by any chance?
Yeah, he was at the premiere of season 1 in LA. So
That's
that was
amazing.
a delightful encounter. He's totally warm. He was already a big Star Trek fan himself, so he's just been. I think my impression is that he's been very honored and excited. And it wasn't until that meeting that it occurred to me that part of what can happen with whatever visibility our show gets is that it can bring that much more visibility to the work that he's doing.
That's so
And
true.
he's really doing incredibly vital and important work to try to help save the environment.
Yeah.
Yes, that I keep almost every day I find people on Twitter like putting the dots together and realizing, oh, there is a real Paul Stamets, and like he has a book called Mycelium Running. He's doing talks all over the country. He teaches. He's got all kinds of projects going on. So I urge anybody who's interested at all in the vital work that he's doing to seek him out.
Right. Should anyone seek you out to find out more about mushrooms? Are you now the expert, or do people ever ask you that?
I would never claim to be an expert. I'm also a super fan of eating mushrooms.
Yeah.
Like I've made some good mushroom stews and ragouts. I'm a vegetarian, so they are a vital and important part of my diet. So I can speak to that a little more, except for like my layman's knowledge of what I've absorbed from the encounter with Paul Stamets' work. But he would be the person. I would never claim to be able to explain things the way he can.
All right. Well, to change subjects off mushrooms, you recently did a carpool karaoke with some of your castmates, and yeah, we all saw it. It was all over social media. So can you talk a bit about your experience getting to sing with the disco cast?
It was a blast. I mean, it's, I wonder sometimes if people think that we're like putting it on or like spinning it, that we really do and enjoy each other's company and we have a lot of fun with one another and we love each other. I wonder if sometimes people think that's just like PR, but it's the truth. So yeah, being in a car with Sonequa and Doug and Mary and getting to just act like fools was a total blast. Because we, part of the reason I think we do love each other is that we have permission to be ourselves, and there's nobody's like trying to play it cool. Nobody's, we're all nerds and weird, and that's part of what we allow ourselves to be. And we're very passionate about the work we do, and we're also capable of being very serious about it, and bring our intelligence to it, whatever. But we have a lot of fun on set. We sing on set. We goof around. So it's just like, yeah, it was like if you're going to, you want to invite us to just do that on camera? Sure. Why not? I mean, so that is an authentic portrait of the way in which we interact. I mean, yeah, granted it's ramped up a bit because we're like singing at the top of our lungs in a car, but yeah, it's a very accurate depiction of our dynamic.
Nice. Oh, well, it's so good to, get a window into that. And just to bring it back to the episode, you guys sang Space Oddity for that karaoke. So is it a coincidence that you guys then sang it as well in the episode?
I honestly don't remember the timing of it. I really I don't
Yeah.
remember. I think it might have been after we shot the episode, so I
Oh,
think it
okay.
was. But I think it was a coincidence though, because I think that suggestion came from the carpool karaoke people because they were looking for at least some of the songs to have some kind of like space or sci-fi element to them,
That's
and there's not
true.
a lot of those songs that exist. So I think it was as much as anything a happy accident. But then I think I was certainly one of the people who was like, yes, let's do that song because they gave
Hmm.
us a list, and so I don't know how Shape of You fits into sci-fi, but
Yeah, you're right about that, actually. So now you're 2 seasons into Disco. What is the ratio of getting approached by Star Trek fans versus Broadway fans?
it's pretty split still.
Okay.
Like I don't know if this is a thing or why this is a thing, but in Toronto, I probably get stopped more for Star Trek. In
Okay.
New York, probably get stopped more for Rent or movies, but it's a little bit of every. Where I've gotten like talked to a lot is going across the border back and forth between the United States and Canada. Border agents are always talking to me about Star Trek Discovery.
They're like, hey, I know you.
Yeah, like one time I was in line to like get my, not even to the border, just to go through normal security, and one of the guys was like, "Hey, Lieutenant Stamets," like that.
That's so
And they
good.
always a little bit like, "Oh, hi," don't expect it.
I love that. Now, I know you can't really speak too much to it, but about the return of this character. But how great is it to work with Wilson again in season 2?
It was really special. Yes.
Yeah.
I was very, very happy for him. I mean, we knew that it was going to happen, but I was very happy for him the way that it happens and what he gets to do with that story, what I get to do with that story. It was very, very satisfying and rich the way that it was brought to life by the writers. And if this is going to happen, that he comes back in a way, how the manner in which he comes back, it has to have been earned and it has to be meaningful. It has to have consequences.
Right.
And thankfully, everyone on board said yes to that. And I think, I haven't seen everything yet because I've seen as many episodes as everyone else in the world right now. I've seen 4 episodes, but I know what we shot, and I look forward to seeing it, how it came together.
Oh, man. So do I. Now, thank you so much, of course, for joining us, Anthony, all the way from New York. I appreciate you taking the time to chat with us on
My pleasure.
the Ready Room. Yeah, thank you so much.
Thank you.
That interview came from StarTrek.com and appeared on TrekMovie.com.
Imagine, if you will, the idea that Alexander Courage stole the music he wrote for Star Trek from another composer. Could that be possible? In this delightful look into the background of music that has accompanied Star Trek, Tom Allen from CBC Music gives us a bit of background to where it all began and how it all happened.
So what would you say is the earliest form of social media? Facebook? The internet? The telephone? The Victor talking machine? The Gutenberg press? It's actually a lot older than all of those. It's music. People share music. People have always shared music. It's a natural thing. You hear a tune that you like, so it stays stuck in your head. Pretty soon you're singing it yourself, and the next thing you know, you hear your neighbor singing it too. Now, if what you hear is your neighbor's hit recording of your tune, and where you hear it is blaring out of the speakers on the Lamborghini that he just bought, with royalties from the sales of his hit recording of your tune, well, you could sue him. But legally or not, this kind of thing has been happening for as long as people have been singing. And that, in human terms, is pretty much forever. And sometimes, when a musician copies another musician, it isn't an act of theft, it's an honor. But let me show you what I mean. Here, come on in. This is Jamie Parker, and he's here to play something for us. It wasn't written for the piano, it was written for an orchestra, but that's okay, it'll work fine. It's Gustav Mahler's Symphony No. 1, the very opening of the piece. He wrote it in 1888. If ever there was a composer who was into sampling before they were samplers, it was Mahler. He took inspiration from anything and everything. Nothing was sacred. Can we hear it again, please, Jamie? Now, the thing is, Mahler didn't actually write that. I mean, it sounds like Mahler, works perfectly where he used it, but he didn't make it up. He copied it. When Mahler was 17, he was a student at the Vienna Conservatory, and that year there was a concert over the Christmas break, a brand new piece by Vienna's own living musical grandpa, Johannes Brahms. Now, Brahms, well, he wasn't what you call an easygoing guy. He was plagued with self-doubt. But even he had to admit, when he was writing his second symphony, that things were going pretty darn well. The piece is joyous and buoyant and lighthearted, right up until a tense little transition in the middle of the last movement. It's practically identical. See, Mahler got it from Brahms. But I gotta tell you, Brahms didn't make it up either. He got it from his predecessor in Viennese musical greatness, the man whose cold, hard, judgmental breath he felt in the back of his neck every single day of his life, Ludwig van Beethoven. Brahms was so convinced that he'd never be able to crawl out from under the shadow of the mighty Beethoven that even during that wonderful summer, the summer where he wrote his second symphony, the kindest, warmest, sunniest summer of his entire life. Even then, when he was living on the shores of an alpine lake, he still had Beethoven's music running through his head all the time. Until finally, he decided to honor the great man by copying it. He took something from Beethoven and used it in his own Symphony No. 2. And what he took is one of the darkest, most intense, most pregnant with feeling moments in all music. It's the opening of Beethoven's Symphony No. 4. See? Mahler got it from Brahms. Brahms got it from Beethoven. So where did Beethoven get it? Well, this is where things get just a little bit weird. Because that little pattern, down a fourth, up a step, down a fourth, and so on, that little thing in its most famous use won't even exist for another 200 years. It's hard to believe, but in an act of musical science fiction, it will be transported, Terminator style, from the 23rd century, allowing for some slight alteration to some of the intervals due to disruption of the space-time continuum, and planted into the minds of the great masters of the past, where it will evolve forward to us from there. So where does it come from? Where can we find the seeds of creation of this little idea, so beloved to the great masters of the past? Space. It came from space, the final frontier. How would manage that? Well, you'd have to ask William Shatner. But one thing is certain. Singable, hummable, stealable tunes have gone with us to all the places we've already been, and will go boldly where no tunes have gone before.